Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. So I have already done a video about what I like about the Dualtron City. I don't typically buy EVs that are ready to ride. I would much rather build it myself. And now that I have this thing, well, guess what? It's going to get modded a lot. It's going to get a new battery pack. It's going to definitely get new controllers in it, and a few other things about it that as we go along will become more apparent. But anyway, this is video 1 of video 2 of the things I don't like about the Dualtron City. And this is probably true for a lot of your ready-made scooters. I would say this about them, or e-bikes for that matter, because I already know how I think about those sort of things and how they never have enough power or enough acceleration. So I'll get off that topic for right now and talk about this. So that is the factory charger that came with this scooter. 1.75 amps into a 26 amp hour battery pack means about 14 amp hours worth of charge time. 14 hours! All I can say is, Dualtron, what were you thinking? You should have included the 6 amp charger. Yeah. And even then, the charge time is really long. So if you were to go buy one of those fast chargers from Dualtron, they're like $150. On Amazon, I found a 66.4 volt charger that even includes the GX60 connector for $105, except for it charges at 8 amps. So it's going to be faster than the fast charger from Dualtron, and it's going to cost about $50 less. So you do the math. I bought the one on Amazon because I want as fast charging as I can get. This 14-hour stuff, that's for the birds. I'll pass. My Zap scooter, I charge at 30 amps, and that to me is a long-ass time. And of course, it's got a lot more capacity than this does. So 14 hours is like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Alright, so onto the scooter. Alright, so the back brakes, they are hydraulic disc brakes, except for that front and rear, they're both 160mm rotors, and there's simply not enough braking power. If I turn off regen braking, which I have set to 5, then mechanical braking just simply doesn't slow me down fast enough. I can't cram on the brakes tight enough to make the tires skid. It's just simply not enough braking power. So I have bought 203mm rotors, and I've bought the brake standoffs to extend the brake caliper out for the 203mm rotors to max out braking power, because it's just simply too weak. So yeah, didn't like that at all. That was kind of annoying. Alright, so this is an assembly niggle. There is a little connector right there which powers those LEDs, and the only way you can get to that thing, because it's down this little gap and the wires aren't very long, is to take this fender off, which is held on by 2 screws on top and 2 on the bottom. And so you have to pull that off to get that connector together. And so when I was assembling the thing, what did I do? Oh yeah, let's put the fender on first, and then I noticed, whoops, I didn't put that connector together. So then I had to take the fender all back apart. Anyway, getting the fender on and off is not exactly fun. It's relatively easy, but it's a pain. Anyway, yeah, that connector, that was an assembly niggle for sure. Definitely didn't like that. Alright, so the next assembly niggle is this one. And that is the kickstand. So you'll notice the scooter is sitting pretty flat, pretty level to the ground. And that looks right. However, with the kickstand that way, or with the swing arm rather that way, to make it level, then the kickstand is much too long. So this kickstand, it is much shorter than what you get from the factory. It has a slot in it so you can adjust it up and down a little bit, but it's not enough. So I have pushed it in all the way, and then I drilled another hole in it to secure it in that position. And then I bent it. So I've got some masking tape on there. So see if I want to bend it some more. I might not. But yeah, the kickstand is much too long. You know, if you want your scooter to be level, and it's pretty level. It's a little bit high in the back, but not much. Anyway, yeah, if you're riding around, the rear suspension kind of relaxes into place, in which case the kickstand is too long, and I've just been riding around. And so anyway, it wants to tip over. If I really carefully hold it, it'll stay. But after a while, the rear suspension will relax, and then the kickstand is long enough to keep it up. But here's how much I have to touch it. And then it falls over. Just bare touch. So it's pretty close to like center of balance right there. And that's after I shortened it even more and bent the kickstand. So yeah, I'm going to have to take the back end apart just so I can raise the rear swing arms a couple notches to make the kickstand long enough. And in which case the back end of the scooter sits high. Anyway, yeah, I set it up for good looks, not for kickstand length. Now I got to fix it so that the kickstand works. Grr. Kickstand is really not adjustable enough for this scooter and to have good looks where everything sits flat. Didn't like that at all. Alright, so next thing. So anyway, I'm going to be standing on the kickstand end here or holding the handlebar the entire time, so otherwise it will fall over, which is also annoying. Right here is a key, and you got two of those keys. The only place it gets used is in that lock right there, and all that lock does is lock the battery compartment. So we lift that up. Here's your battery inside. You can lift this out and swap in another one. You know, that's the plan. The only way I can see this compartment being used is, you know, you have a battery pack in your backpack or something, so you can swap in another one. Otherwise, you know, who's going to have an extra battery pack? You know, you're 40 miles away from your house or whatever, and you know you don't have enough range to get back. Oh, hey, man, so Joe Blow on the street with your Ford, whatever you got, you happen to have a Dualtron City battery pack in your trunk? No, what's a Dualtron City? Well, this scooter right here. Oh, yeah, no, I definitely don't have another one of those. So, you know, you're basically SOL. You've got what battery you've got. So having a removable battery pack, in my opinion, is like, yeah, not very important, not very valuable. I guess if you and your buddies all had Dualtron Cities, and then, you know, somebody rode a van out to someplace with them, then they could have a couple extra packs, maybe then. But, you know, that's just simply not the use case for most folks. They're going to have the battery pack they have, and that's it. All right, so the real reason why I opened this up is because of this. You can see dirt inside here. And there's actually water underneath the battery right now because it's been dripping down inside there. And basically the problem here is that there is no gasket around here and there's no gasket here. So when this is down, you have this nice little crack. And I've been riding this in Colorado, and there's snow on the ground, there's puddles, things like that. And so water gets down in there, leaks into the battery compartment. And you can even see down there, you can see the little light spot. So in the corners of the battery box, they have 4 little drip holes because they know water's going to get in there. Well, Dualtron, what the hell were you thinking? Why don't you just make the deck, cover this whole entire area, and then put a gasket around it, or at least put a gasket here so the water stays out? Yeah, this was just stupid design, in my opinion. They should have fixed that. They shouldn't have let water get in there to begin with. So that's annoying. Yeah, I will be fixing that problem. And Dualtron, you should have never let that happen to begin with. And you know it's a problem because you put drip holes in the bottom of the battery box. Okay, so you have 2 charging ports. That's cool. You have this key right here. And then you have this odd little switch. So you can see that guy right there. Well, guess what? That switch does nothing. I've pulled this front panel off so I can look at the controllers underneath it. And there are no wires going to that switch. It is just a switch filling a hole. It's almost like Dualtron, when they made this casting, they forgot that there was nothing in there. And so after they were all done, it's like, oh shit, we have this hole in our casting. Hey, we'll put a extra switch in there and not have it do anything. So yeah, you have this switch that does nothing. Weird. Yeah, you know, it's I don't know. Somebody wasn't thinking that one through. Okay, so that is gripe video number 1. Now I'm going to do gripe video number 2.